Welcome back, everyone. In the second part, we're going to look at what you can actually do with the Datacake AI agent in your day-to-day work. So we're going to cover three main areas or skills from the agent, which are general IoT questions, exploring devices, and analyzing your fleet. So these are great examples of how the agent is going to help you get answers faster, explore your workspace more easily, and better understand your device data using very natural language. Let's get into it. So let's start with some very basic general IoT questions. The general skill is designed to handle broad questions about IoT, Datacake, common technical concepts that are covered under our documentation. So it's the perfect place to start when you want to help understand something, compare options, or just get oriented in your workspace. So to start, for example, you can ask questions such as, what is MQTT and how can I use it in Datacake? So as you can see, not only is it going to give you general information on what MQTT is and how to use it inside of the workspace, but it's also going to give you tips and tricks for how to address it at every single step. And at the end, it's going to give you additional suggestions in order to improve your learning and improve your understanding of it as a feature. Next, we can also address questions like, how do I set up a LoRaWAN device? Again, here we get a quick overview of the question itself and a step-by-step of how to actually integrate the device into Datacake. Now, if you'd like to target a skill specifically, you can open up your options dialog right here and select one of the skills underneath. So right now we are targeting just general knowledge base, so we're in the right section. Another question that may be useful to ask is, what is the difference between LoRaWAN decoders and API decoders? Again, here, after asking the question, you get a brief answer of the question itself, as well as actual comparative answers, and then real payload decoder examples that you can use inside of your device. So these general questions are especially useful when you are first learning how to use the platform or onboarding a new team member who's not as familiar with IoT or Datacake as a platform, or if you're just trying to really quickly understand a concept without searching through multiple documentation pages or trying to figure it out on your own. So instead of having to manually look up the information, you can just ask the AI agent your question in very plain language and get an answer as well as examples right away. So next in our knowledge base, we're actually going to look at the devices skill or the devices database. So here we're able to explore the real devices that are inside of our workspace. It lets you dive into the individual devices and inspect their details very easily and very efficiently. So this includes things like device configuration, measurement fields, their current values, and their metadata. So we can jump into a couple of examples just to display how this works. If you want to better understand what a device contains, how it's configured, or if you want to just really quickly find a device in a workspace that may have 1,000 devices. So here is an example. We're just going to start by having it list all the devices in our workspace. So here, not only is it going to list all of the devices, but it's also going to give us the serial numbers and show us the last time that the device was heard from or the last time that the device sent an uplink. Okay, so as an example, we are going to want to check the temperature reading of one of the devices. So what is the current temperature and humidity readings of fridge 8? Which is a device inside of my workspace. So you can see that the AI agent has called on the device fields and retrieved those current measurements, and it just outputs it right there for me. Now, we have a tagging function in Datacake that lets us more easily organize all of our devices inside of a workspace. So I can ask my AI agent to display the battery readings of all devices tagged warehouse north. And this is going to request the AI agent to retrieve the battery readings from everything inside of this folder, the Warehouse North folder, all of which have been tagged using that identifier. And now we're going to see that it outputs all of those for us sequentially. And all of the battery readings look great and fully charged. So this skill makes it much easier to explore your workspace without having to click through every single device manually. For more advanced questions, the AI agent can run custom GraphQL queries against the API when the built-in tools aren't enough for a more complex request. So the agent is not only just looking up things inside of your workspace, it's looking for deeper and more flexible exploration when you actually require it. So the next skill we're going to move on to is our analytics skill that is designed for looking at your fleet as a whole. This is where the AI agent becomes especially powerful because it helps you identify patterns, compare groups, detect any outliers, any edge cases, and summarize what's happening with many devices all at once. So we'll jump into a couple of example questions for this as well. So here I would like to know, what is the average temperature reading across all devices in my workspace? So you can see that it quite quickly and efficiently reported the average temperature of all the devices in my workspace, as well as the minimum and the maximum, and gives you the range of devices that are taken into account. Now, inside of this workspace, my devices are mostly temperature sensors, but you can use this in any capacity. You could ask your sensors how many doors are currently open. You can also ask it how often was CO2 above a certain level last week in the office. We could ask our workspace, please compare humidity levels between Warehouse North, which is one of our folders where we've divided up the devices, and Warehouse South. And here we can see that it has separated the two folders. It's taken into account all the devices inside and given us two different ranges. So again, we get the average humidity of all the devices in each one, the minimum and the maximum. And it also gives us a little briefing on what that comparison looks like. If we want to look at our workspace more holistically, we can even generally just ask the agent to please give me an overview of the workspace. So instead of just viewing raw data and manually looking through many different individual devices in different folders, you can actually just pull it together and get real understanding from what your data is telling you. Another fabulous feature from the AI agent here is that it understands natural language for sensor types. And by that, we mean you don't always have to use the exact field name that is assigned to the measurement. So you can ask, how warm is it? And the agent is inherently going to understand that you are talking about the temperature field. When you're speaking to the agent, air quality can also be mapped to carbon dioxide or VOC levels, and noise level is mapped to loudness. So it understands the semantics that are then tracked to your measurement fields. So this makes the interaction feel a lot more natural and much easier, especially when you're not sure of the exact field names in your workspace. And if you have many different products inside of your workspace, it is quite often that the same field can exist under different labels. For this analysis skill, the AI agent can do even more. It can calculate things like averages and minimum and maximum values, as we've seen in all of our examples we've just done. We can see time above or time below a threshold and general trend directions, as we saw in our overview of the workspace. So it can do this without dumping just raw data into the conversation. So it makes the results very clear and comprehensive to use for quick decision making. So that encompasses our top 3 generic skills that you can employ in the AI agent to better understand and comprehend your workspace. So with the agent, you can ask general IoT and platform questions. You can explore individual devices and their details, or different sets of tagged devices, and analyze data across your entire fleet. So instead of manually searching, filtering, comparing data for yourself, you can just ask the question in a very natural language, a natural way, and let the AI agent help you get the answer as fast as possible. So thank you for watching, and in the next video, we're going to continue exploring what else the Datacake AI agent can do and other skills that it encompasses.